Hi everyone, and welcome back to another drawing demo. Okay, so the scene that I'm going to be drawing today is this one. It's Cley Windmill in Norfolk, North Norfolk in the UK, and the materials that I'm going to be using are Daler Rowney A4 smooth heavyweight paper. The pencils I only used three actually. I used a 4H, an HB and a 2B, and that was it. That's all I needed. A few blending tools, paper blender, cotton swab and some cotton wool. The erasers that I used were the Tombow Mono Zero fine eraser and a piece of blue tack which I use for a kneadable eraser. Set square, graphite powder. Yep, I know, I usually scrape my graphite powder from the woodless pencils, but this time I'm using the Kohinoor graphite powder. And I used large dust brush and a small brush just for blending and softening back small areas. And that's it. Okay, so let's get busy. Right, so I'm starting out with a 2B pencil. And as you can see, I've only got half the page covered with the grid lines. That's all I'll need just to get the windmill in. The reason I'm using a 2B pencil to start with is because later on in the drawing I'm going to be going over the whole paper, rubbing it with graphite powder and cotton wool. So I want something like a 2B and not an HB or anything lighter. I want something that's still going to show the lines, you know, when I rub over it. It's not going to completely blend away. There's still going to be enough graphite left there so I can still see the line drawing underneath all the graphite that I'm going to rub over this. The 2B lead that's actually in the mechanical pencil is the Pentel High Polymer leads, and they're very dark. They're not like your standard 2B leads. These are a lot darker, so it's going to give me a much darker line to start with. I actually like these leads a lot, you know, they are very soft, very dark. Some people say that they shine a bit, you know, there's a bit of graphite shine with them. And I know some people don't like that, but to say, you know, you don't like graphite shine is like saying you don't like water because it's too wet. Graphite shines, you know, I mean, we have to sort of get used to it. I know a lot of people try and avoid it and they use different styles of pencils and things like that, but it doesn't bother me in the slightest. You know, I used to spend years worrying about the shine on the pictures that I was getting, because I know it's, you know, some people don't find it very acceptable at all. But at the end of the day, as soon as I stopped worrying about it, you know, I was less hindered in my drawings. I just got on with my drawings and produced better work. You know, the graphite shine is very minimal, and to be honest, I see it in most drawings, even with people that don't like graphite shine and go to great lengths to avoid it. I still see it there. So I shouldn't worry about it too much, you know. I should just get on with the drawing and not worry about if the graphite's shining or not. There are certain measures you can take, you know, to avoid it, like not pressing too hard, you know, with pencils and layering up that way. You know, you can really emboss the paper and get a nasty shine that way. But generally, you know, if you are layering up, if you go at it with a fairly gentle pressure and just layer up that way, you're going to reduce the shine a little bit. But in all honesty, for the dark areas, unless you're using carbon or charcoal or something like that, it's fairly unavoidable, I think. Anyway, now the graphite powder's completely over the paper, you can see that I've started using the eraser to erase out the light areas, and the line's held up pretty well underneath there. I can still see it for the most part, so I've got something there to work to. So the graphite powder on smooth paper is going to erase really nice and clean, really easily. So I've got no trouble here in getting any detail and keeping nice straight lines and getting the paper back to clean white paper again. I've actually made 8 videos to accompany this, and they're all over on my Patreon page. I'll leave links in the description below, and right at the very end of the video on the screen I'll leave an end card there, which will take you straight to my Patreon page, and you can have a look over there and see if you like it, see if it's for you. It's only $4 a month, and there's over 100 videos on there at the minute, and you'll get access to all of those. So it's an absolute bargain. So if you want to go and check that out, it'll be great to see you over there. All of the last pretty much 12 months or so, YouTube videos and drawing demonstrations are all over there, but they're all in real time, pretty much full length videos, just with small amounts of editing just to cut out the boring parts, and they're all kind of full on lessons, so you can draw along from start to finish with pretty much all the YouTube videos that I've made, in the last few months. So yeah, it's a growing community over there. We've got some fantastic people over there. They're all making friends, posting their own work. So it's a great community over there. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Okay, back to the drawing. So I'm using a 4H pencil to put the light shading in on the roof or the dome of the windmill. And I use the 2B pencil just to put the dark areas just under the balcony there. And now with an HB pencil I'm starting to actually shade in the main part of the windmill, the brickwork, using horizontal pencil strokes and kind of working with the texture of the paper. Although it's a smooth paper, there is a little bit of texture there, and I'm pressing fairly lightly so I pick up just a little bit of the grain of the paper, which is going to look nice for a nice textured effect on the windmill. I'm just varying the pressure slightly as well on the pencil, just to help me get a little bit more texture as well, just to suggest a few bricks here and there, a little bit of staining and weathering on the side of the windmill. And then when that's done, I use the 2B pencil to get the nice dark areas in along the left hand side there that's in shade, using the same sort of technique, sort of a horizontal shading technique, varying the pressure, just to get that nice texture. You can't really see every brick or every joint in the brickwork at this distance, but you can just make out a few, very soft shapes and things like that of bricks, and areas of sort of weathering and texturing on the side. So I'm just kind of suggesting that really. I'm not sort of drawing every brick in, I'm just keeping it very simple. This is actually a very nice place to go and visit. If you've never been to Norfolk, along the North Norfolk coast in the UK, if you're planning a holiday in Norfolk, this is a must. You must go and visit this. Apparently it's one of the most painted and drawn windmill, I think in the UK or Europe even, I'm not sure. But loads of artists have painted this. It's a very, very popular scene. And I've always said that I'm sure the guy that designed and built this was an artist, because it's so picturesque, it's unbelievable when you're there. And it doesn't matter which angle you view the windmill from, whether you're standing at the front, the back, the side or wherever, it's perfect. The perspective, the composition is just perfect. Wherever you stand, to draw this, it's definitely a place you must visit. I've been there times. It's converted now into a guest house, so you can hire rooms there and have a meal there and all that kind of stuff. It's a really, really beautiful place. It's situated in the village of Cley on the North Norfolk coast. Well, obviously it is, because it's called Cley Windmill, so there's a bit of a clue. But the village itself is really picturesque. It's a lovely little Norfolk village, and as you're looking at the windmill from this angle, you've got the sea to the left of you, and you've got salt marshes, you've got reed beds and picturesque villages all along the North Norfolk coast. It's a real artist paradise, it really is. I'm hoping to go there this summer and take my camera and sketchbook and get some inspiration. Sounds like I'm doing a holiday commercial, doesn't it? Instead of a drawing demo. Well, the demo, like I say, it's really over on Patreon, the full lesson. This is just really an introduction to it. It's so hard to give a full lesson, isn't it, in the time limits of a YouTube video. When a drawing like this takes you about 12 hours or something. Obviously I can't make a full-length video and put that on YouTube of this, so obviously it's highly edited. But I hope you get the idea. I hope it's kind of inspired you to have a go at drawing something like this. I'm just working on the roofs now. Just a minute ago you probably saw there I was just blending in with a little paintbrush. You see how useful those little brushes are just for blending in these small areas without losing the detail. If you go over it with a blending stump, you're probably going to smudge a lot of the detail in and lose a lot of that. But going over it with a soft paintbrush, you're going to retain a lot of the detail there, but still get a nice soft effect. So I'm using the 2B pencil here to get the darks underneath the roof and on the front of the building. You'll probably notice that just the 3 pencils that I've used in this drawing, just how effective they've been, you know, considering one of them is a 4H. I mean, okay, we use some graphite powder as well, but generally, you know, we need to go a lot darker to get good contrasts in the pencil drawings. But this 2H, the 2B mechanical pencil, it's really versatile. You know, when you learn to vary the pressure, you can get some nice light areas and almost black areas with it. It's almost the ultimate pencil in my opinion. It's fantastic. So I'm just increasing the depth on the shadow there, just to give a little bit more contrast between the windmill and the building. Right, so it's starting to take shape now. Pretty much done all the windmill and all the outbuildings, and just quick soften back with the brush there, some of the texture on the front of that building. And I can start work on the foreground grass, just using the eraser there just to flick up, well, I say grass, it's actually a reed bed, but I'm just using the eraser there just to keep flicking up, you know, little suggestions of reeds here and there, changing the direction a little bit with the eraser to get different angles on them, and softening back with the brush. Very simple to do, the foreground. I think we can just about call that one done. So there we go, there's the finished picture. It's not the best photo there, but it'll have to do for now. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for watching. Take care everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.